What is up, everybody? Welcome to Saved by the Code. Welcome back to Saved by the Code. Today, I got an informational video for you, as opposed to my regular news videos. I like to throw these in to mix things up. Today, I will be discussing the intellectual dishonesty, lies, and hypocrisy surrounding Bitcoin's energy consumption. And I got a lot of juicy material for you to go through. So let's just dive right into this craziness. First, I got this beautiful article for you here, released by EWG. And the title is Proof of Problems: Bitcoin Mining's Pollution Tool on U.S. Communities. Yes, Bitcoin is absolutely destroying, decimating, obliterating communities all around the world. It's a horrible thing. It is just terrible. Just kidding. This article is so incredibly intellectually dishonest and hypocritical. It made my eyes water and fall out of my head. Just listen to the first paragraph. It uses some powerful words. Once dead coal-fired power plants roaring back to life and spewing hazardous emissions, overheating trout chopped up by utility water pipes, non-stop low-frequency noise. These are just some of the ways Bitcoin mining is polluting communities across the U.S. That was a very ominous paragraph, and it's just incredible to me. This entire article is just bashing Bitcoin. This is the title of one paragraph. While communities suffer, Wall Street cashes in. Oh gosh. And it is just, they don't once bring up the insane amount of energy the banking sector uses, the gold mining industry uses, the gaming system industry, refrigerators. I could keep on going. Like I said, and they have other articles on their website, and I found nothing of the sort. They have plenty of articles bashing Bitcoin, none of which mention the insane amount of electricity used by banks, gold, and all the things I just mentioned. And they just seem to think that Bitcoin mining is the most pointless, silly, stupid thing in the entire world, and it is a complete and total waste of energy. And I have no respect for whoever put this article together because of the complete lack of intellectual dishonesty. If they wrote an article that stated Bitcoin uses a lot of energy, and it does, okay. However, then, and they were like, we need to move to a more, renewable energy future. And by the way, which I think it's more than half of Bitcoin mining does use renewable energy sources, by the way. And if they put an article together that, talked about Bitcoin mining, but then also mentioned the banking industry, gold mining, all those other things I mentioned, and just said, we need to focus on moving these industries in a more green, the future being more green and more sustainable and more renewable. That's fine. That's fine. I could have respect for you because you're being intellectually honest, not hypocritical. And even if they mentioned in their article, I'd have so much respect for them, actually. If they brought up Bitcoin and how much energy you use and da-da-da, okay, yeah, I can respect that. It's factual. That's facts. Bitcoin uses a lot of energy. Okay. And then if they mentioned, banks, gold, whatever, and if they said, oh, the computer that I wrote this on the materials it's composed of were the materials were from a mine that's environmentally detrimental. My iPhone that I have on my desk, a lot of things I have in my house, come from mines that are environmentally detrimental. Oh, they don't mention any of that. Bitcoin is just going to burn us all alive, but the things that you own, oh, they have no effect on the environment. The computer you wrote this article on has no effect. You're just a perfectly green human being. The Tesla you drive is just so green. Oh, and I got some stuff for you later in this video about Teslas. Virtue signaling Teslas. It's just factual. Manufacturing a Tesla battery, that uses a lot of energy and come from environmentally detrimental mines. Thought I'd throw that little fact out there. So they're not as green as you might think. You're not making as much of a difference as you might think. So it's just, I have zero respect for this article. It is pathetic, honestly. It talks about how the noise from Bitcoin mines is just destroying people's lives, and that is not true. I worked at a Bitcoin mine. Yes, the machines are loud. When you are right in the same room as them, they're loud. Okay, they're loud. But these machines are inside like a container. Like they're not just outside in the rain. These are electronic devices, and they need to be contained and cooled. And so you don't hear them. It's just like a low, you might hear like a fan, because they need cooled. Like the slight sound of like a fan blowing wind. They are not loud. That is not true. It is a lie. They are not so loud that they're going to disrupt your life in your house. What about highways? When people live by highways, there's a constant hum of the highway. You don't notice it though when you aren't listening to it. It's loud. Like when you pay attention to it, you hear it. But when you don't hear it. Like I grew up very close to a highway, and you go outside in the backyard, it's like peaceful. It's like birds are chirping. You don't even notice the highway until you tune in. You're like, wow, okay, I could actually, it changes everything. You're like, whoa, that's actually kind of loud. But when you're not paying attention to it, it literally doesn't even enter your consciousness. And the hum from a highway isn't pleasant. It's just like this constant whooshing sound or something, but it doesn't disrupt your life. It's the same level. Bitcoin mines are not even that loud. I've worked at one. I know for a fact. Like I said, the machines are loud. Like if you are right in the same room as them, they're loud. You should probably wear ear protection. You don't need to. It doesn't hurt your ears, but over a long period of time, yeah. You see what that's called? Intellectual honesty. I love Bitcoin, but machines are loud. They are. Bitcoin uses a lot of energy. It does. And it's moving towards a more renewable future. And this takes time. These things don't happen overnight. The gasoline engine, that's the technology we had at the time. And it's worked very well. Sure, it creates a lot of pollution. It does. There are pretty much no human activities that don't produce pollution or some form of it. Like I mentioned, like the Tesla batteries and everything. What about all the trucks that burn the gas with the tires to get your battery? And none of that mentioned in this article bashing Bitcoin. Here's another sentence from this article. Despite staunch opposition, nearly everywhere Bitcoin is mined, Wall Street bankers and other large financial backers managed to continue this assault on climate and communities across the country. I just can't have any respect for these people that fail to mention the immense amount of electricity used by banks, gold mining, all that stuff. yeah, it's just absurd. And this article wants Bitcoin to switch from its what's called a consensus algorithm from proof of work, which is the whole mining. That's what mining is. It's called proof of work. They're just guessing numbers. It's just computers working to guess numbers and mine Bitcoin. They have to expend a lot of energy to do that. That's proof of work. They want Bitcoin to move to what's called proof of stake. It's another consensus algorithm. Doesn't require tons of computer hardware, using lots of electricity, but there are trade-offs with that. You trade decentralization, which is extremely important to Bitcoin, and why proof of work is the absolute best consensus mechanism we have at the moment. It is centralized. It does not reach consensus, meaning that I discussed this in my last video, meaning that people in the network can submit false transactions, I'm not going to get too technical. Proof of stake is not nearly as decentralized and does not accomplish what Bitcoin accomplishes whatsoever. These people have a complete lack of understanding of Bitcoin and say it's pointless. We need Bitcoin more than ever. Look around you. The traditional financial system is completely burning, collapsing, failing, just as it was designed to do, by the way. This is inevitable. No fiat currencies last ever. Fiat currencies being government-issued currencies, centrally issued currencies by banks. It's a fiat currency. None of them last. And that's because, mathematically speaking, it's impossible for them to last. So that article was a complete, absolute joke released 2 days ago. No respect because of the complete lack of intellectual honesty. I would respect them if they were actually intellectually honest, but they aren't. Like I said, they wrote this article on a computer. They have their iPhones. They got their homes. They got their cars. They fly on their planes. So hypocritical. But Bitcoin's gonna burn the world alive. Not me flying on my plane with my computer and my Tesla and my iPhone. No. Oh, goodness gracious. These horrible Bitcoin miners just providing this financial system, this monetary system that allows, it puts the power back into your hands, allows you to be in full control of your money, allows anybody to use money where they can't access banks, like in countries. I would love for them, these people in this article, to tell this to someone in Turkey, to Venezuela, to someone in Argentina, to someone in Zimbabwe, where they don't even have the slightest resemblance of a banking system there. It is horrible there. Bitcoin is an alternative that is permissionless, that doesn't require you to submit your ID, any of that stuff. You need an internet connection and a device, and you can use Bitcoin. Like I said, in these other countries, people do not have access to banking. It's, how do you live? What do you do? And Bitcoin is literally, it's happening in these countries. People are using Bitcoin to get money in and out of the country because it's incredibly difficult to move money in those countries, within the country and outside of it. And their currency is just decimated by inflation, greed, the whole typical story. Lies, deception, greed. What's happening in the United States, by the way, right now. And Bitcoin is a lifeboat for them. And these people are literally pooping on it. Go tell that to them, please. Would love for you to do that. Oh, goodness. All right. Yeah, so I got a bunch of articles here just highlighting the fact that so many industries use more energy than Bitcoin. And the whole thing here is the energy use justified? Is it justified, Bitcoin's energy use? And just to put it in perspective, Bitcoin is it uses around 120, 130 terawatt hours of electricity per year. And to put that in perspective, that's like as much as some countries use. You know, I think it's like been compared to Spain and Sweden and all these countries, Sri Lanka. It uses a lot of energy, it does. And the mainstream media tries to make it sound so horrible, and it's the only thing that uses that much energy by saying, Bitcoin uses as much energy as a country. Like, that's all they say about it. They don't mention that it's a permissionless monetary system that allows you to store and send value to anywhere. I say this every video. You get it. It has a use case. These people that continuously say Bitcoin has no use, incredibly intellectually dishonest, and just lying to you. Literally just lying, or just don't understand it, or mad or something. Like, why would you bash something that you don't understand? I don't get it. People do it all the time. I guess I'm guilty of it too. I've definitely done it before. But, you know, it's just such a focus though. It's like, why is Bitcoin the worst thing in the world? There are so many other worse things that consume tons of energy, like the banking system. Here, I got here for you. Refrigerators in the United States alone use 66 terawatt hours a year. In the US alone. That's about half of what Bitcoin does a year. That's a lot of energy. But I would say that refrigerator energy use is justified. We got to keep our food cold. It's super convenient. You know, we don't got to keep getting ice and stuff, extremely convenient, justified. All right? But it just goes to show you refrigerators use a lot of energy. Oh, but we need fridges. We do need refrigerators. We don't need Bitcoin though, apparently. Don't need an alternative financial system in this incredibly insane financial environment that we live in, where you can't even trust the bank that you put your money into. Oh, game systems. How about them? That's what's next. Game systems use 75 terawatt hours a year globally. Not as much as Bitcoin, but that's a lot of energy for a kid to play a game. I play video games. I don't play them a ton, like daily, but I play them probably a couple times a week for a couple hours. They're fun. They're great. Very entertaining. They help me not go insane. So I would say that energy use is justified. It probably helps a lot of kids not go insane. So sure, 75 terawatt hours. That is about what? 2/3 Bitcoin mining energy. Yeah. Or like 3/5 or something. A lot of energy there, folks. A lot of energy for game systems. Is that justified? That wasn't mentioned in that Bitcoin article. One time, all about Bitcoin. This entire article, nothing else mentioned. Here's more video game articles. Yep, game systems use lots of energy. Here's the gold mining industry. And I'm an advocate of gold, but my goodness, does that industry harm the environment? Talk about something that consumes a ton of energy. I mean, and like, not just the mine, like the whole process of mining is just so incredibly energy intensive. However, gold is hard money. Bitcoin is hard money. These are alternatives to our financial system that we cannot have any faith in. It's just time and time again, they betray you and, say it every single video. But like, this article kind of blew my mind. Just the tires on the trucks that are used for mining gold, each of them cost $42,500 and apparently require 50 barrels of oil to create one of these tires. That is eye-watering. They contain nearly 2,000 pounds of steel and enough rubber to make 600 tires. It takes 4,200 gallons of oil to make one of these tires. One tire! I'm sorry, it's not funny. It's horrible, but I mean, insane. Just the tires on the trucks to mine gold. And then the gas. And then, disturbing the environment. And I'm an advocate of gold, like I said. I am. But why is this not mentioned in any other article or any other news outlet that bashes Bitcoin energy use? Like I said, this whole video is about the rampant intellectual dishonesty, lies, and just crap when it comes to this whole Bitcoin energy consumption argument and the perception by so many people that, oh, I've heard it so many times. I bring up, I'm into Bitcoin. Oh, doesn't Bitcoin use lots of energy? Isn't it bad? And the reason for that is just so many people read a headline, read one article, read a paragraph that says Bitcoin mining use lots of energy. It's bad. That's their opinion. That's the truth. That's reality. It's over. That's all they needed to hear. No further research is done. CNN told me, or whatever news outlet told me, Bitcoin uses lots of energy. Bad. 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 No use case. Bad. Unfortunately, that is what the majority of people do. They look no further into anything. That's with anything, really. Wanda down the street with her Facebook degree told me that Bitcoin uses lots of energy and is bad. Unfortunately, that is the truth for how people formulate their opinions in this world. I love that. I heard that about something and it made me laugh so hard. Wanda with her Facebook and YouTube degree told me Bitcoin uses a lot of energy and is bad. That's it. That's the truth. Yeah, gold uses lots of energy. It uses more energy year than Bitcoin. It's 200 plus terawatt hours a year. Like I said, Bitcoin is around 120, 130, of which half is from renewables. Yeah, gold industry says here is 240 terawatt hours. Bitcoin mining is 114 terawatt hours about. And that's how energy use is measured on these large scale industrial operations, how much energy they use in terawatt hours. And that's a lot of energy. I think Bitcoin's mining energy use is about 0.5, 0.6% of the total global energy use. And a lot of this energy comes from energy that would have been wasted otherwise, flare gas, excess energy from energy grids, like when renewables are highly unpredictable and can produce excess energy or not enough energy, and when they have excess energy, it's just wasted. Profits lost. Bitcoin miners come in and scoop that up. Balances the grid. It's good. It's good. And it makes solar or renewable energy viable on its own. Because whenever you have renewables that cannot create enough energy, you need fossil fuels to make up for that. We are not at the point to where we can just transition into this. These people have in their head that we could just tomorrow transition to a perfectly green world where just renewables are everywhere and everything's perfect. It takes time. It takes time. And I agree, we do need to move in that direction. I agree 100%. And we are moving in that direction of a renewable energy future. However, they are not at the point to where the entire world can rely on them. We need fossil fuels. We still need them. Like, I'm sorry, but we do. It's just the truth. A combustion engine works a lot better than an electric engine. It does. It can pull more weight. It can travel further. It's much easier and quicker to refuel. The convenience of it, the power of it, the fun of it too. I don't know about you, but I would rather drive a stick shift V8 Mustang with that roaring sound than a automatic electric or no gear electric car with no sound. Sure, it's fast, it's probably fun, but I mean, come on. The roar of a V8, please. Not having that sound is that's scary. A future without the sound of a V8 is scary to me. And they should never be outlawed, by the way. So gold uses a lot of energy, and the banking system uses the most energy out of all of these things. It is predicted that the banking industry uses 263 terawatt hours. Ugh. Tesla, yeah, it's just absurd. The intellectual dishonesty is just insane. Gold uses a lot, banks use a lot. Let's see here. This article states that, and this was written in 2021 or 2020. It states that Bitcoin share of total energy consumption, 39% of Bitcoin's mining is done with renewables. And this was written in 2020, 2021. That has increased for sure. When was this written? And by who? September 2020. So that was almost 3 years ago now. And that number has increased to over 50%. That's a lot. Half of an industry is running off of renewables. Didn't see that mentioned in that first article. Agenda, anybody? Yeah, I'd say so. Very agenda driven, as usual. Lies, intellectual dishonesty, hypocrisy. It's just craziness. Another one. Cryptocurrency versus traditional banks. Energy consumption. Banks dwarf that of Bitcoin energy consumption. And what is the service they provide to us? Well, they devalue our currency. They take our money, it's not ours anymore, and invest it into risky things. They ruin people's lives and then make you pay for it whenever their investment goes south. They deceive, they lie, they cheat, and then blame it on you. Make you pay for it. That's what banks do. Thanks. We don't need you anymore, banks. Is that energy use justified? Didn't see that mentioned in that first article. Let's see here. The debate about cryptocurrency and energy production. This one's pretty cool. I like this article because it's intellectually honest. I respect intellectual honesty. I've said that like 20 times in this episode. Not that I respect it, but intellectual honesty. I do respect it though, because it's just, you're just lying. Like, sure, I have tons of conviction of Bitcoin. However, I question it. It has problems. It can only process 5 to 7 transactions per second. That is not enough for global adoption whatsoever. However, there are layer 2 scaling solutions that are already being used, already being built out, getting larger every single day. And this is how you scale things like Bitcoin. You build layers on top of them. Banking system consumes much more energy than Bitcoin. Another one, gold industry uses much more energy than Bitcoin. That's funny. Didn't see that in that first article. Let's see here. This is a great report. I'm going to put a link of it down in the description of this video. Talks about banks, banking industry, gold industry, and Bitcoin, and compares their energy usage. And it's really great article. Intellectually honest. You just gotta be that way, or else I can't respect you. I literally cannot have any respect for you if you're being intellectually dishonest. And there's being intellectually dishonest and ignorant. There's just people that they just don't want to learn about Bitcoin. They really don't. And that's fine. That's their decision. That's okay. And even then, they've heard Bitcoin uses a lot of energy, bad, but they just don't look any further into it. They're smart people, but they just choose not to look into it, and that's fine. These people aren't stupid. It just takes more time for some than others. And, I just don't know how many times you need to be failed by your bank and the traditional banking system and your government to not want to look for an alternative. Like I've said in many videos, it's literally like having a neighbor that throws rocks at your house and stuff, and you have them over for dinner still. How many times are you going to let them do that before you say something or move or report them to the cops? I don't know. Oh, Teslas. Here we got some juicy stuff for Tesla people. They are not as green as you might think. Where do those batteries come from? Do they just fall from the sky? No. They don't. They come from environmentally detrimental mines. Where do you think that lithium comes from, and the cobalt and all that stuff that goes into the batteries? Yeah, they come from mines that require trucks that burn gas with large tires that require a lot of oil to make. The hypocrisy, the intellectual dishonesty, none of this is ever brought up in articles bashing Bitcoin's energy usage. And so many of these people that write these articles, that are in these news outlets, on these news shows, talking bad about Bitcoin, drive Teslas, have houses with lots of things in them that pollute the environment. But they don't contribute to climate change at all. That's funny. Yeah, lots of CO2 is emitted. 15 tons. For every ton of mined lithium, 15 tons of CO2 are emitted into the air. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. Oh, man. This article, Tesla car battery production releases as much CO2 as 8 years of gasoline driving. Man. Not so green after all. Yeah. A lot of pollution created by Tesla battery production. And what do you do with those batteries when they're done? How do you recycle them? What do you do with them? I'm sure there's companies that are doing research on that, and but I don't think we're near to the point to where we have any type of environmentally friendly way of doing that. So just a lot of things use a lot of energy in the world. It's not just Bitcoin. And what you have to ask yourself, what I've said many times, is it justified? And, it's up to you to decide. Maybe you don't think Bitcoin is a justified means of energy consumption. And that's your decision. And the things you do, maybe you do justify. Maybe if you use a bank, you think banks are justified in their energy usage, even though they do horrible things to people. But that's up to you, And like I've mentioned as well, I don't think that everybody in banking is a bad person. There aren't people like everyone in banking is just scheming to hurt everybody and take everybody's money. No. There are bad people in banking. There are higher ups, rich people. However, I don't think the majority of them are. It's just a small percentage of bad people that result in these bad outcomes for a lot of other people. For what? For what? And, Bitcoin is an alternative to that. There is no one issuing this currency. There is no one that's printing this currency. It's neutral. It comes from computers. I trust a computer more than I trust a human. With my money, at least. I don't know about you, but just seeing as what's happened over the past, couple years, even past 20 years, I'd say we need to neutralize money, folks. Does anybody remember 2008? I do. I was a kid and I didn't know what the heck was going on, but now I've looked into it and I see the horrible, terrible things they did to people, the lies, all that stuff. We need an alternative. All right, folks, that about does it for this video. But before we wrap up, I've got some extremely important information to share with you. Has anybody else considered how much climate change is affected by farts? Do humans fart more methane than cows? And apparently cows' farts contribute a lot to greenhouse gases. And that's not mentioned in any other article either. Should we wear these things on our behinds that, create less pollution? Maybe. This I found so funny. This is a legitimate article, like a scientific research article, like legit. Like there's a lot of smart people on this. They compared meat eaters to vegetarian eaters, and they call it gas evacuations. Such a proper way to say fart. It's so funny. I think gas evacuation sounds funnier than fart. But apparently vegans fart more than people that eat meat. So hey, vegans, you're not so green, are ya? Gotcha. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to end this video on a funny note for once. Farts, cow farts in particular, contribute a lot to methane pollution in the air. And apparently methane is much more damaging than CO2. So yeah, people, cow farts, look out, because it's going to burn the earth down. Same with farts and Bitcoin. Those are the only two things that destroy the climate. So look out. Bitcoin and farts gonna burn us all alive. All right, that does it for this video. I hope I made you laugh. I hope I, uncovered and debunked some of this Bitcoin energy use nonsense. Look at that cow, just farting up a storm. And yeah, there's just so much hypocrisy, intellectual dishonesty, lies within the Bitcoin energy debate. It's really all they have to bash it. Like, and the whole drug dealer thing. It's for drug dealers and terrorists. Yes, illegal activity happens on Bitcoin. It does. It does. However, it is an extremely small percentage. Less than 1% is the figure. I kid you not. Cash is king. US dollar is the king of crime. Money laundering. Banks do it themselves, of which they're allowed to get away with. Anyways, I'm going to stop with the negativity. Cow farts. Laugh. Haha. All right, let's look at the prices. I'm sorry. I am so immature. Bitcoin is at $27 million. Ethereum is at $400 million. I'm just kidding. Bitcoin's at 28,000. ETH 1870. XRP 51 cents. Cardano is around 40 cents. That bites. It'll come back. Cardano's awesome. Yeah. Market's looking like a Christmas tree. Sideways. 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 Consolidating, I believe, is what the traders call it. We're going to break out and we're forming an upside down triangle with a double top and a bottom and a this and a that. Technical analysis is weird. I don't know. It can work, I think, but how do you predict, like, black swan event? Well, you can't. So I'm not even going to get into that whole thing. All right, folks. Thank you for listening. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope you're all doing all right out there in this mad world. I hope you're happy. And yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And leave a comment. Tell me what you did today. Happy Friday. Hope you have a great weekend. And until next time, I bid you farewell on your cryptocurrency journey.